Do you need anything else? Or am
I think we'll be.
I just set them by your.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much.
The only thing that's on there is the health insurance because we got the rate increases, so I just stuck that in there.
Okay, so that's correct and.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You got copies for me?
I think there's for everybody there. Okay, we'll bring the meeting to order. The roll call, we'll use that time to welcome Darren to the board. Welcome aboard. We're missing Byron and Greg. Okay, why don't you put down that Commissioner Berger was invited. Any of the commissioners are more than welcome to attend the meetings if they want. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion carried. The big one is we want to do the budget. So everybody got one of these. Rick and Linda.
Just to approve the minutes.
What?
Let's make
Oh.
the minutes and treasurer's report first.
Okay, yeah, sure, let's go. Approve the minutes for the May meeting. Can you tell I want to get this budget done? It looks, the way it's written, it looks like Dorothy Dewar was representing with an L, she was,
I put a period behind Mr. Fedig's name just to try to split it, but I
Okay.
could put Dorothy at the beginning if you would like to make it so she's her own.
yeah, probably.
Okay.
Anybody see anything else?
Well, we need to, redo, or basically we have to rescind the motion you guys made last time to not pay the county road, spraying. And then go back to the one that you guys made in 2018 and revoke that one, if that's what you wanna do. and then make a new motion to make it correct.
Okay,
Because essentially we have conflicting motions here.
Right,
The most recent ones, the ones in effect though.
but
That's what I would
we
think,
did not
too.
revoke the one in
You
18.
don't have to.
so we can revoke it if we have.
Actually, that would be not correct for parliamentary procedure wise.
But we decided that we don't want to,
The board voted at the last meeting not to pay. That's the one that's in effect. It's the most recent one that's in effect.
Well, at the very least, the motion last time should have mentioned that we were revoking the one in 18.
okay, mention we're revoking the one.
So do we need to redo it?
We shouldn't have to, I thought about that too, that, you know, it's just a new motion. It's a new.
It's a new motion. Basically, you wouldn't want to revoke that because then you don't have a record that we were doing it from 2018 until current. Now it just says that we're gonna go a different direction.
Right, but the motion needs to be corrected from last time to say that we're changing the motion we made in 18.
So let's just add a little more mud to the water on this. You want to look at Century Code. It says 4.1-4749, the county weed board duties, implement a program for the control of noxious weeds, provide for the control of noxious weeds along county and township roads and along county highways. So we can't really not pay for this to be done. The county's only certified sprayer has now quit. They don't have a way to do this. So
We have nothing to do with that employee though.
I agree, we don't. But in our duties, we're responsible for it.
We've got, the other one's hired to do the road ditches for
The
the
state highway.
state highways.
Not counted.
But we aren't doing anything for that. We've tried.
Right.
And
We're looking at hiring an employee or advertising for an employee.
Well, you've already done that.
We advertised.
You advertised. Have you had any responses?
We've had one person that expressed a little bit of interest. The answer is no.
Right. That's the problem. So I watched the last meeting and I understand that I'm coming onto this board with a reputation being against the weed board and not. If we could make this weed board look like Mercer County, we'd be doing wonderful, right? But that needs to be done in steps, and it doesn't start with the rental unit, right? That's my main problem with it.
Well, what we were looking at is to buy something for an employee if we could get somebody hired.
That's not what you said at our Oliver County Soil Conservation. You said it was a rental unit. And I have a whole board that can verify that. So it changed
We looked
between.
We looked at both. We found out we can't rent it out and then
Correct.
it ended.
Yep.
That was, well, we were looking at buying that and then seeing if we couldn't find an employee to operate it.
Mm-hmm. But we don't need to buy one before we can find an employee. It's very easy to buy equipment. We could have that thing
Well,
bought and set up in a month.
Let's go back to the motion here and whether we need to address this. We can get into all that other stuff and why we're where we are, but
and I want this budget done. I don't care. We're
You're right. That's the thing. So the budget has to be done today, one way or another, right? And so how big of a bite do we want to
okay.
bite off?
Who quit? What happened? I don't even know.
Irving was assigned to the spraying job that they were kind of halfway doing a poor job of to start with. And then I heard that he's quit and he was the only certified sprayer. So they have to come up with somebody else.
That's Monday.
that's totally separate from the weed board though.
It's not totally separate.
Absolutely it is.
No, it's not, Rick. It's right here in these that it is a part of our duty. And if we want to have a building, we have county equipment. We have just settle down and listen. We have county equipment stored on property that isn't county. We have county paid budget. We are overseen by the commissioners. And if we want to do something good for the county, we need to start spraying road ditches. That's the number one thing that we could do in this county to make us a cash flowing viable situation. So at this point, we're all outside of our own jurisdictions. Where's the side by side stored right now?
We don't have it.
No, not side by side, 4-wheeler sprayer.
We're up in the 4-H buildings.
Whose building is that?
It's the 4-H councils.
Correct, it's not county property.
Okay.
We've been trying to get something.
Right,
Gentlemen, can we finish the
the motion that's on the
Approval
the
table.
of
minutes,
yeah,
please,
yeah.
first?
So we need to change the minutes? Or just note the approval change?
Maybe you could just change the wording that it references back to the 118. If they no longer want to do that.
Well, we can't change back in 18.
No, we can't change 18, but in the motion we made last meeting,
All right,
Have it
where is
just-
it?
have it put in there.
It's on the back side, second paragraph of the,
We'll move that the weed board does not pay for non-weed board member to spray. Second, Greg, motion carried.
down on the back.
Does not pay for non-weed board member to spray.
Come on.
Okay. Does that mess things up for Scott and Miranda? He's right, not, because they're not weed board members, we pay them to spray.
Yeah. What was the idea behind this motion?
Probably the liability we talked about.
No, it was that, because in 18, they made a motion that the weed control board would pay the spraying costs of the county shop guys that were out spraying.
I see.
And that went through payroll or transferred at the end of the year, and then just
It came
the
out of our
associated
budget.
costs that came out of the
Yep.
weed control budget,
Yep.
just for the hours that they clocked on their timesheets.
So then the purpose of this was to remove
To remove that.
that from our budget.
Right, and that doesn't, the way it's worded, the non-weed board member, I don't think that's correct, because that would cover Scott Miranda also, who we hired to spray, state hired.
So if we hire anybody at this point that isn't a weed board member, according to this motion, we can't pay them.
Right,
Well, Gerving wasn't a weed board member.
he wasn't, no, because the original thing was spraying costs of the county road workers and spraying road ditches for the county.
So how do we need to rewrite this motion?
That the weed board no longer wants to pay the county road worker salary share for the hours worked, which is kind of a moot point because we don't have anybody right now, because Ben quit. But they are looking at getting commercial applicator license for one of the guys down here.
You could go back and basically state it the same way it was worded back in 18, just because it
Just
says
so it
here,
clears it up.
yeah, that the spraying costs for county road workers when spraying road ditches will no longer be funded. County, and it specify to the county road workers.
That way it doesn't cut out Scott and Miranda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we just amend it, the motion, or do we have to do it over? I don't know how that works.
You could amend it to state that, yeah.
I would, make a motion to amend the motion that we made last time about, not paying for spraying costs, the way it's worded in the minutes to, basically revoke paying the county workers' share that we had voted on in 2018. Something to that effect.
Okay, you made the motion.
I'll make the motion. We just need it cleared up a little.
Okay, we got a motion to clear up the motion that was made last time about changing from a non-weed board member to a county road crew worker to spray that the weed board does not pay for it, or funds be taken from our.
That way I have a paper trail
Okay,
on my desk.
we've got, you read the motion to us, Brittany.
Okay, Linda moved to amend the motion from the May 8th meeting that's to state that the weed board will, will not be paying county road workers for spraying road ditches out of the weed board budget. Fund, excuse me, fund.
Okay, any more discussion? For both, well, all in favor? Seconded. All in favor? I'm kidding.
Did somebody second?
Call for a second.
There's no
I'll
second.
second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else in there?
Oh,
Well, no, I mean, everybody okay with minutes?
sorry.
Yeah.
Motion to accept the minutes.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Treasurer's report then?
This is, got in front of you, this is accurate as of about an hour ago. I made sure all the cash receipts were in for the chemical sales. We controls on the front page, it's number 2970. Right now, there's 162,511.07 in there.
They just keep bringing stuff.
I do have a a chemical invoice up there that I have not paid yet, because it has to go through the commission meeting. That's, gosh, was that like 64,000 something?
74,000.
74,000? So that'll come off it here. So that brings it down to about 90,000. The actual and estimated expenditures just gives you a recap of from January to today of where we are in our budget. Since I've not paid the chemical bill yet, we've only expended 6.31% of our budget. And we had one abatement for $8.14. Abatements are when somebody gets an abatement on their property tax. It gets apportioned out to all of the funds that it was originally credited to. And then revenue, so far we've taken in $13,930 in chemical sales. We usually project to take in 15,000, that's what the budget was, so I don't know how much more chemical will be sold. Usually it probably would end up over 100% right now, according to the budget for revenue, which is just a guess. We're at 92.87 of estimated revenue for that. Taxes are, no, there'll still be some coming in. We're at about 85% for property taxes. In the middle section, the grants and reimbursements, that when we get say grant money or LAF money, will go into there. If there's any other state money that goes in, primary residence credit, or homestead credit, or veteran service credit, that goes in that as revenue also. Other than that, there's not a lot to report for our financials.
Yeah, we good turn off pickup day.
We're down to what, eight left?
But yeah, that day was a
It was okay, yeah.
side talk.
Yeah.
Any discussion on the treasurer's report? Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So move.
Second,
I'll say.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So the other employees on here, that was
Brittany's 1/5.
1/5.
Pretty's 1/5, and then when we did have somebody spraying last year,
Okay.
Ben only had 3 days that he went out and sprayed. So there's that. It wasn't a big ticket item at all. That's why the expenses January to December 2024 are so far under what was budgeted. And we figured there'd be more spraying time from the county guy. So
So what's the thoughts then of this year?
well, basically, you have to cover 1/5 of Brittany's salary. I don't have those figures here. They're working on a salary increase. HR is. Last year, the Weed Board share was $7,200 for her salary. They don't expect large increases on salaries because of the 3% cap that we have to be mindful of. Because that's 3% on dollars, not on mill levies. So I think, like I explained last time, if you ask the taxpayers for $1 million in taxes, you can only ask them for 3% more than that this next year. Some things are exempt, but not everybody. Schools, I think, are exempt.
You can only ask for 3% more.
Total over the whole county that we, like the school, I believe, is exempt. We haven't had our training yet. I'm not sure about, like, the fire department, they can only levy 3% more too, but that money is an in and out money. We don't keep any of that. Whatever they levy gets sent out every month, whatever's collected, and senior citizens and historical society and ambulances is divided with 5 or 6 different ambulance districts. Soil conservation, those are balance sheet accounts or balance of funds accounts is the correct term. That money comes in and goes out, so it doesn't go into our we can't spend it. I mean, it just comes in and goes out. So, but overall, for everything that's levied, including those, we can only do 3% more, except for the schools.
So if we're at 16.7, we spent about 10.4 last year. 7,500 of that is
7,200 was for
Brittany. If you would put in something like 8,500, that gives you a little bit of a cushion depending upon what pay increases are.
Well, if you're looking at hiring somebody to spray, you have to consider that too. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and amend the budget. So I don't know. That's up to you guys.
Where did
That would go under contracted services though, wouldn't it?
That's where Scott Moran would go.
Right.
That's what I was curious.
So they would go under other employees, unless you make a new line. It's just called other employees because that's what Janet named it. It can be named anything. That object code is called other employees. We can split them out and make Weed Board Secretary its own line and just make a new object code so that we sandbox them and keep it so it's more transparent. Because then you don't have to guess how much went for here and how much went for there.
So other employees includes what we're paying Rick and Brittany.
Yes,
That's the total.
that's,
Yep.
yes.
Just clarifying.
But
because
Rick
we-
got a raise.
Yep.
It was 3,500, now it's 7,000, and so it'd be 7,000 plus 7,200 plus whatever the raise is for Brittany. And I don't know what that's going to be yet. HR and I have been working on salary sheets to present to the commissioners, and it's not up to me; it's up to the commissioners.
So if we even left it at the 16.7, that would cover.
That would cover. It would give you a little cushion.
would give, and if we did,
If you did hire somebody else,
I
we
would
can,
put that under contracted services though, to some degree.
and we're still able to amend even if we would hire someone.
I would say if you put someone to hire, put that under contracted services.
How much,
Well, if there was somebody to contract doesn't go through payroll. So this would have, as an employee, they would have to go through payroll, so they couldn't.
So other employees goes through payroll? and-
Yes.
Okay,
Right, and the
Okay.
board members, but we can make a new number up. I have, they're all 3-letter numbers, so anything from 000 to 999 that's available, I can make a new line, object to whatever you want. It's easier to see when the lines are separated, because then you don't have to do math. You go, oh, okay, all the workman's comp goes under 240. It's easier just to look at if they're separated out that way. That's the reason for the object lines.
I would say, we did 17,000.
That
What's
would cover Rick and
Brittany, and if we go over,
and then whatever raise, I don't know what it's gonna be.
so if we go over, it's,
It's fine, this is an estimate,
okay.
okay? You're estimating this is what it's gonna cost.
And this is all,
As long as you don't go like over by 100,000,
Well, no, I
then
know.
I mean, if
I
you're,
get it.
but yeah, if you put,
I want to put 17,000. I would-
113.
What's that?
on 113.
Yes, 113.
I don't see that board members needs to change a whole lot. We normally don't have a ton of meetings. We've had, 5, 6 a year maybe, at the most, 3,000.
I'd like to see us get back to 3 or 4.
Right, but we only spent $1,575 last year.
Well, then
We had quite a few
We'll
meetings.
put the 3,000 back in there. Contract services, Scott and Miranda.
you know what,
Still
if-
7106.
Yeah, that was what they charged us last year.
and I don't know that the number is necessarily right, which is really weird because that is basically an in and out. It doesn't cost the weed board anything. Whatever they turn in for a bill is reimbursed by the state highway department.
Right, but they must get reimbursed must send in for chemical too, right, with that? Do they?
We gotta figure that out as a weed board. Right now, we're just giving it to them.
Right, but I went back and pulled the invoices and they charged $7106.25, but we got back $10,526.75 from the Department of
Because
Transportation.
I put in the chemical costs.
Right,
to the
that's what I
state highway
figured the
department.
difference was,
Yeah.
that 3,400
Yeah.
was the chemical that we supplied them.
And I take retail price and put it in on that bill.
Okay,
So we're
that's what I figured it
Theirs
was
is a
for.
wash.
Yeah, so that's an in and out basically. You still have to have a line there so that I know somewhere to put it when the bill comes in.
But it's a 9,000
So
in
just
again.
leave it at the 9,000 there,
That's
right?
fine.
FICA is the matching. The company
Social
has to pay,
Security and
yeah.
Medicare and all that.
it has to pay 7.65% of Rick's paycheck and hers, and then, so,
So you
That's
could
about
just
a
do your
wash.
7.65 times your 17,000 that you put in.
right. And that would cover it.
What'd you get?
Actually, it comes with the same number. The 17,000 comes with the 1,275.
1,000.
$1,275. That's what's in there now. You could leave that the same. If it's
Retirement.
Retirement is
I
just,
didn't know we're getting
Brittany.
retired.
no, it's just Brittany's, it's Brittany's 1/5 share of her salary retirement. So the county pays 16.14% of salary to Indy PERS for retirement, half of which is the employee and the other half is the county bucket. So this is what we took out for her, this is the retirement on the 7,200 that she
Okay.
was paid last year. That will go up some, I'm guessing,
1,200.
just from the
covers
just from the figures that we've been looking at on the salary report we're doing. That probably is gonna go up to about 8,000 if it's approved. So
But her 1/5 comes to
That is the 1/5. I mean, if you do 16.14% of 7,200, you'd be pretty close.
Okay, so 1,200.
That comes to 1162. If you go to 1,200, you're safe.
That has not changed. Workers' comp is the same. She's in the 8747Z category, which is 8,005 is the cheapest one. But that's what most of us are. It allows us to go out of the building and go places. 8005 is strictly desk bound. You don't get to go anywhere. That should stay the same.
Okay.
We have a program up there. There's a new program this year. We're actually getting 20% of our workers' comp premiums back if everybody complies with it, with the quarterly reports and the quarterly requirements like the LMS classes and the CEG safety stuff, which I take care of as risk manager. This is just a shot in the dark. We don't know how much we're getting back.
Well, we'll just put 550 in there.
Yeah, and the problem is this only gets paid in January. So,
Okay. Unemployment compensation, we were short there.
yeah, we got dinged really hard by job service. COVID was picking up all of the premiums, so we were paying like next to nothing, like $300 a quarter, and now we're paying 2.5% of salary, which jumped us up to like $6,700 a quarter. Yeah, so that was unexpected.
This is just unemployment for.
Brittany's 1/5.
1/5,
Yeah.
yes. So that's
Let's-
why it was increased, because
let's-
we got dinged.
300.
300. You said we're just estimating. Yeah.
Health
Okay.
insurance, you
Health
got
insurance
You
is
got
taking
it.
a massive hit. It's going from $2,022 a month to almost $2,400 a month for family.
Travel expenses and mileage. We were just a little bit short there.
Just want to say Jaden did plug in the correct number for health insurance. That's the 1/5 share of what
Okay.
premiums would be at $5,700. That's mileage,
that would be board member
board member mileage.
and my
And yeah, if Rick goes anywhere, we might want to increase that a little bit because we
1,500.
probably
Okay.
mileage is at 70 right now.
Travel expenses, meals, motels. Okay.
We don't generally have anything, but we like to keep that line open. So we just put a nominal number in there just so there's something there. Because otherwise, if you do have something and I have to post it as a meal, it shows up as an unfunded line. So we just basically put a number in there.
The only question that we would have to, and that doesn't have to be under lodging and stuff too, but if board members are gonna go to convention, weed control convention, I would say we're close enough for a lot of people to drive back and forth, but I've never used it, I just drive back and forth.
I always drive back and forth when I have to go down for risk management or election.
But if you got a little bit there, that'd be covering 2 nights stay for the year for a board member if you
Sure.
wanted to use it. But
You could increase it.
Let's put 400 in it.
You said 2 nights at 250,
Yeah,
you're gonna be in
you're-
trouble.
You're gonna be staying at the TP motel or
I think
something.
meals are,
Not sure the truck
I
stop
can't
will rent
remember
out a
what it
sticker
is,
for that.
37 something.
Well, you wanna put 500 in there if somebody would
Well,
go
you
to
can-
something?
yeah, like I said,
The convention is in Bismarck, usually?
yes.
And
I normally.
and there's like the big meeting, what did Greg and I go to?
The area.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's area meetings and stuff if you want to go. I mean, it was interesting. Let's put 500 in there. And we need more. Printing and publishing.
That's like if you had something special printed, and it used to be a big thing, but now everybody's got copy machines, and we just make our own.
So
Emails.
I want this map when we get it done. I want it put in paper for one thing.
Right. That's what the publishing part of it is.
That's
so you
where
have,
we-
so you have advertising money.
Okay. Let's go.
The other one is if we got, it's all county in my mind, but if Brittany's doing a lot of printing and stuff too, paper and all that stuff, do we put a bill in, or does that just come out of the extension budget?
Well, actually, she just goes up to the vault and gets a stack
The
of paper.
postage, she'll go down
Postage.
and send that
Postage
on
is
our
under the
account.
postage.
Yeah, that's
Right.
another
But-
Which that
line.
one I use.
Right, yeah, the postage is the paper,
That's a
the
different line,
printing and
yeah.
publishing, she just goes up to the vault and takes a ream of paper. I mean, that's what we all do.
Right,
We don't micromanage the paper supply.
that's fine.
Looks like nothing was spent in
Yeah,
No.
24, so it doesn't.
I'm
It's just.
Well, that
full
would have been
line.
mostly, we didn't put any ads in the paper. No.
so like someone. No, we have to advertise in the paper for board
We
members.
have to give the reporter a notice. We don't have to advertise for meeting. If we're gonna hire somebody, then we
That's
have
what I'm saying.
that would be a publishing cost. Then we have to have a budget for that. They're not super expensive. They don't have to be full page ads or anything. I mean, it can be expensive, but just your little box ads.
The
are-
200 is probably gonna cover us, even if we run it a couple weeks.
They're not super expensive.
Let's go 300. I'm looking at the miscellaneous on the bottom here.
That's for when we don't know what to do with it. That's where we
All
stick
right.
things.
Postage and freight, 790. We were short.
Well, postage is high. We send out cost share letters. That postage adds up.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Should we go? Any ideas? Any
Well, if postage
suggestions?
went up, I would probably
900.
put it up to 900.
All right. Dues, memberships, and seminars. We had a minus 175.
I'm not sure why. That's JD put that anyway.
Like-
I don't know why it's a negative number.
We pay our membership dues to the state association, which I think is $275.
It is that much.
You can do the
Yeah, I would have to ask
175 and
her.
not have a vote, or you can be a full member at 275.
I wonder if I'll have to ask her why
mean,
they're in the hole.
The last, I'm gonna say 8, 9, 10 years, we've done the full membership.
The only possible thing I can think of is that I entered something wrong, we had to correct it, and it was after the end of the year. Sometimes things show up looking like that because of year-end cutoffs. But I'll ask her about it though.
Well, any suggestions?
I think that one is the only one we have is 275, or unless they go up.
So the 500 would be good.
500 is fine if that's,
If there's other places that have.
The other one,
Dues.
registration for seminars, does that come out of there then too?
Yes,
Because that would be like if you're gonna go to the state convention, the member registration is gonna come out of that. So 500 is, I guess it just depends on how active the board wants to get, if they're gonna go to that or not. But that's $150
Per person.
$150 a person.
I don't plan on going.
Plus your-
I have
plus your
enough
275.
trouble trying to schedule everything that I got.
500 is fine
Okay.
mine has come out of that. I would say if a board member wants to go, then let's increase it maybe to 750, but
We'll leave.
at 500, it's fine.
Chemical purchases. You said
This is
74,000?
what we paid this year so far, and people are asking if I'm gonna do a second order. 85 is probably an okay number.
Has soil conservation ordered Castron yet?
They have, but that's in and out. They've paid their bill. They actually
They
pay
pay
it
it
direct.
directly, so I don't have to process it.
Yeah, they can't order it from the companies that we do. but they can accept, the companies that we do business with can accept a check from someone other than a weed board. So
So we'll leave that.
that's an in and out, yeah.
I just caught that part when I printed off last year's thing. It must have been a wrong entry, because that's what's in the, on the company. For that negative 175,
It had to have been a correction that we found later on.
so.
Yeah.
I just caught that, so there you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, machinery, equipment, and vehicles, I guess.
Yeah, that's, because it didn't fit in that one.
We budgeted 500, we spent 5,600.
We got back some of that 5,600. That was for the
Two
sprayers. Yeah, were they jackrabbits?
One was a jackrabbit, one was a UTV sprayer, 75 gallon UTV sprayer.
So what do you think?
It looks like that because when we get the money back goes into the funds under two numbers, an account and a fund. But it goes out under three numbers, so it never gets reflected on here. It would show on the expenditure sheets, or not, it would show on the revenue sheets, excuse me, as grant money that's received. It just looks weird because there's no way to adjust it on the expenditure because the revenue comes in a different set of numbers. So they don't.
So I would say, depending upon what direction the board wants to go, cart before the horse before the cart, whatever. If you guys are looking at buying equipment, or if we're looking at, the one that Darren brought up too, is if we want to amend something, if we're going to get an employee hired, then we've got it in the budget. And then the question is, are we going to go buy equipment, or are we going to let that person just go use their own equipment? That's.
Well, we would have the ATV.
We've got the ATVs, we've got a UTV sprayer, we just don't have a UTV or a tractor. So it depends on, it could be something that, let's say we do get an employee, then maybe we provide equipment a year from now. The problem is, you don't know what direction to go.
Well, it is hard because as of now, there's really not a plan, right? And then if we're not responsible for the county road ditches, then we maybe don't even have a purpose with an employee because where's the demand,
Well,
right? So I talked to Brad Seifert yesterday, and he's like, he told me that they do private spraying with a certain number of people, but he was very honest about the fact that it doesn't make financial sense unless everything else is getting cost shared and subsidized, right? As they're driving, they don't charge mileage out there. They charge $45 an hour while they're spraying. Some of that gets cost shared.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is if we take responsibility for the county road ditches and have a price for that, then
but you can't charge for road ditches.
right, but the county can subsidize it like they do in Mercer County. And if you look over on your Century Code 1-4714, Board of County Commissioners may pay the expense of county noxious weed control program authorized under this chapter from the county general fund and the
This is
noxious
something
weed
we
control
have
fund.
to talk to the commissioners about, though.
You're
first.
right, and the word is may. The word is may in every single form of this. So it doesn't mean they're obligated to.
Right.
It only means that they can.
I know.
So that means we have to have a plan that they want to approve. And that means working with Kenny Rude and saying all of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to have a plan where we just made a motion that said we're not responsible for it.
We're not responsible to pay
They're county.
their county employees.
Right.
County road crew.
Right. So it looks to me like, I guess just from the outside looking in, that until there's a definable plan of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, it looks pretty arrogant to throw in a number here that we're going to hire somebody that
Well,
we
that's-
don't have anything for and
That's
we
what's
don't
so
have a
hard.
purpose
That's
for.
what
The one that we did get, as a response to the look for an employee, there's a guy from Mandan that is willing to come up and spray.
Mhm.
100 to $150 an hour. And we could hire him to do that, if that's what the weed board wants to do. But what the weed board's vision is that we have equipment so somebody that maybe is here for, they're home from college and they want a 3-month job.
Mhm.
That they would have equipment and they could go and do it.
Mhm.
And we pay them X number of dollars or whatever, but that would be a county weed board employee. And if they wanted to go out and do some custom work, for people, and that's a huge, huge ask. There's a lot of farmers that want to have somebody to be able to hire to come and spray their weeds because they're either too old or they don't have equipment. That was the
Or
vision.
time.
Or the time. And so that's what the vision was. The bottom line is, it only works if you can get an employee.
Correct.
A good employee.
Yeah. It's,
So from Mandan, he got his own equipment.
he has his own equipment. In fact, I visited with him and he's the one that gave me the idea of what he's using for a trailer, what he's using for a sprayer, and that's kind of the direction we started to head down. Our only thing is we don't have an employee.
One thing about that, then there's no insurance.
He has to come.
He has to respond to the,
He would provide his own if we hired him, yes.
yeah.
That would be more contract services than,
Well,
employee.
yeah,
Would be similar to Scott Miranda.
right.
And at 100 to 150 an hour, the problem with private weed spraying is that unless I'm going to ride along with him, which I don't have time to do anyway, if I circle spots on my map and turn him loose, he's going to spend 2 hours finding the spot. He's going to spray 200 feet and buy 10 of a spurge patch, and now we get a bill for $500. You know,
The thing of it, if we were to hire him, actually, I don't even know that we were looking at hiring him. We never even had that discussion.
subcontracting, really.
Basically, that would be between him and the landowner. We're not gonna get into billing
That's-
people,
yeah.
that's like an avenue that I'm not interested in going down. But we have people that may want his name, and if they wanna hire him, that's between the landowner and that person.
Absolutely. So then it sounds to me like it just goes underneath the publishing side, and we send out a flyer saying this guy can do it.
If we go, yeah, we can do that, we can share his name. If we wanna hire our own employee, obviously that's gonna look different then.
Very different. There's a lot of hurdles there.
They do it for $45 an hour.
That's what he told me yesterday.
That's undercutting anybody that
Scott
You
Miranda
were
charged,
told that-
what, 60, 70?
we'd have to charge at least that much.
We're not allowed to undercut Scott Miranda by law.
But
Really,
it,
they're not an employee.
not really.
They're under a
The
certain,
government can't undercut.
Private businesses.
but we have nobody interested in doing it. And if we
Well,
would,
we need to talk to Kenny about what his plans are for getting one or the other. Got 2 new employees now, they're starting.
well, that's up to
June
them.
2nd.
Well, it is and it isn't. So the thing about this is like, do we want to be a weed board? This has to do more with the vision statement, really. Do we want to be a weed board that takes ownership of its roads like Mercer County does? And I'm holding them up as an example because we're familiar with it. I farm over there. You drive across the county line, you see better weed control. End of sentence. That program works because Brad Seifert is a conscientious individual and he's good at what he does. He's out on a 4-wheeler every time that there's a spray day, right?
Brad
He's-
Seifert is full-time.
Full-time weed control officer and he sprays, right? And then they have an employee that also sprays with them. If we want to look at a model like that, then we have to just start doing something that the residents of this county can see as a benefit. Nobody's going to complain about Brad Seifert's budget line because they see it happening. Now, what we see out here isn't great. There's a county truck on the wrong side of the road, winging chemical into the ditch, and who knows where the application records are, and who knows how good of a job he's doing. Whereas,
Well, one thing to consider is that Mercer County has a lot larger
budget.
They have a
must have got
larger
more
budget,
roads.
they
They have
have,
a lot more roads too.
right, but they have, their county value is
It's higher.
way higher, ours is like very small.
Actually, to me, the biggest difference is, it's the employee. Remember how we got to not spring road ditches? And that is that we had people hired, and it was, my first years of being weed control officer was nothing but a bitch fest. You got someone who doesn't know what they're doing, they're fertilizing, they're never here on time, they don't look over the ditch, and I got tired of listening to complaining. Because we couldn't hire somebody that they liked, and it ended the conversation, and so what we did is we put more of the money towards the cost share side of it and asked them to do their own road ditches.
Correct.
And so, is it perfect? The answer is no. The bottom line is it works if you get the right employee. And I really believe that that was the vision of the weed board, is to see if there's somebody that we can hire, that we can trust to go put on equipment.
Right. And
What does Brad Seifert, what does he do in the off season? Like,
I don't know.
is he full time?
He's a full-time employee, but what he does in the off-season, there's, again, that program runs really, really well because of Brad. But they've also got a different setup as far as the cost share program. They don't have a building,
They don't need one
and
because
it's all run through Cenex.
I've heard that's coming to an end.
It may.
I don't know. He didn't say anything about that yesterday, and the landlords over there that I rent from are still getting their chemical from there, and they put my certification number down, and then I apply it. So there's no hesitation as far as this year. They're still doing it.
Right.
The other thing, though, Rick, is you have kind of just said our own problem is you had trouble as a weed control officer managing people. Brad is a weed control officer that sprays. So why don't you jump on the four-wheeler and spray?
Because I was not hired to do that, and I wouldn't have time to do that.
So then maybe we need to look for another employee that is exactly like Brad, a weed board officer and willing to spray.
If you
And
guys
that
wanna
would
go
then
that route, that's fine.
Take you out of the picture.
I don't think I had a problem dealing with people.
Who
People
is
complained that they wanted me to
responsible for
fix
spraying the
the
ditches?
employees. It wasn't an issue with me, but
It's us. It's us.
The right of
The
ways.
right-of-ways, county roads and right-of-ways. I talked with Brad about this yesterday too.
Yep.
It is us. We have a responsibility to do it.
to provide for a means of control, it doesn't mean we have to spray.
It doesn't. We provided that's true. It's not
Okay,
given.
we're getting off.
You're right.
We're
So
getting off here.
So I would go back to this, Brian, is like, we're talking about a vision here. I don't see any reason budgeting equipment here because we don't even have a consensus as a board of what our purpose is.
That's fine. We'll put in,
And also the commission is not very friendly right now to over expenditures on the weed board part. We need to come together as a board and have a plan that they're gonna wanna support.
okay. So what do you think we put in here?
If we have no individual interested in applying for a job, I would agree that we probably are just perfectly fine where we're at because we're probably going to coast and do what we've always done and it's worked. Maybe we don't want to. The only other thing that I would have, and I visited with Brad about this too, is that what's our vision with a building? And do we put that in a budget? If that's something that we would proceed. The other thing that we would do is that if we want to get address the issue of the carryover, you can have a building line item that is not considered to be part of your 75% carryover. And you could put that in there, and that really comes from the board maybe creating that extra line. And then we've got a plan, or we've got the ability to implement a plan if we do find, let's say, a building opportunity or whatever it might be.
One thing you do have to remember is the budget is imaginary numbers.
Right.
You're pulling them out of the sky.
Yep.
You can put anything you want in the budget line. These numbers don't carry over to the next year. The money that's in the fund, but if you have put a building line in there and you have documentation, because they're looking at, we have to have written proof of why we're not, including in that 75% carryover. And they are cracking down on it.
But they'll want us to make that extra line in.
Yeah, you need to put a line in there, and then you need to have, paperwork, a paper trail that we can attach to the financial statement. Or,
So what you're saying is we can't just say, well, we're gonna put X number of dollars in this line item because we might have an idea in August that we wanna do something with it.
right, well, see, the thing
That's-
is, this is real money, this is fake money.
Exactly.
They don't have to
Right.
match.
Right.
This is how much money is in there, and has very little bearing on what this number is.
So what's the right avenue to create a new line for a building
You
fund?
just tell me what you want. I would have to go look at what the actual building, there's a construction line, I don't recall offhand what the number is.
Okay, let's get back to the machinery and equipment line. We're getting way out, we'll get to the other one.
Maybe an idea with that, Brian, is that we do get $7,500 as match money from the Department of Ag. So if you wanted to put $10,000 in there, we would get 75% of that back if we spent it. That gives us flexibility to buy equipment if we need it. Granted, we don't really need anything right now. But we are encouraged as a board to utilize those TAG grant
Those
funds as
grants.
well.
Okay, these grants can be used, and I'm gonna get off here too. They can be used for anything
To improve your weed program,
in the county.
yes.
Would we be allowed to help the soil conservation with them?
It has to be for weed control, and they would have to have some arrangement with us.
What
for
about,
providing weed control.
they've spread gas around?
That's, I don't know if that would pass or not. I think it couldn't go towards buying the casserole.
But could it go towards helping them with the side-by-side or other equipment?
Well, that would be a different thing. First off, we'd have to have a board meeting to discuss that.
No, don't,
I see what you're saying as far as that goes. Honestly, the county's equipment is not great, and if going forward we were to do something down that road, then yes, obviously there could be some deal there. But the way it sounds, we already have a side-by-side and a jackrabbit sprayer, so like, my first step is there.
We have a four-wheeler.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a quad, yeah. So yeah,
but I mean,
We could do it for the county. I don't know how the SCD would fit into our weed management plan, unless we have some arrangement like documentation that they're doing
right.
something to improve the weed control program. If we wanted to work with Kenny and maybe update their sprayer, it's actually gone towards even like engines for a pickup that's used for spraying. It could be a lot of different things as long as it improves our weed board program.
okay.
Right.
Let's put
If you put
10,000
10
in
in there, and you get
and
75% of that back.
if we don't
If you don't
use it,
spend it, you don't spend it.
we don't
Okay,
spend it.
just making this clear, there's a 3% cap. These numbers are probably all gonna get,
So there's a 3% cap on department budget increases.
average.
So weed board is also limited to a 3% increase.
So if we want to do the building, we'd still be out of whack.
Well, what is 3% of 118? 650. That's about all they're gonna let you go.
It was what?
The number that you were budgeted last year, 118,000.
3,500.
So that's probably all they're gonna let you increase.
Total budget.
Because for every dollar they let you increase, somebody else is gonna have to decrease.
Okay, what do we want to put in there then?
Okay, I'm gonna just come out and say 0. We don't have a plan. And
Okay.
and we're gonna
I got an example here.
Yep.
You know, we got the 3%. So we can raise it 3%. We just got a bill. Health insurance is going up 15.71%. Okay, I don't know who the legislature does math, but
so
the math
3%.
isn't math.
You got your phone out, right? 3% of our total budget.
3684 for
Stick
the
around.
20 or 120.
3%.
Yes.
It's a 3% cap on the levy. So the amount of money that you guys are levying against the taxpayers is where the cap comes in. So
So
that's
not the
the money
individual
that you're
budget.
bringing in. It's not the budget. you have to keep in mind that you're only bringing in so much that goes off your budget, but you're not capped on 3% of your budget.
I take it you're watching.
Well, I'm listening and I catch a few things, but when it comes to levying and budgets, I was like,
So,
yeah.
I haven't had the training yet.
no, that's okay. So please explain this to me then,
Yes.
because I'm new. So, our total budget is what we're working on right now.
Yeah.
But the amount we're able to levy is 3 mils,
1.5.
or up
You're
to
at 1.5 right
One
now.
1.5. Yep.
And
Okay.
because you're at 1.5, and it's 3% on the dollar.
Okay.
And I'm going to be getting training because they're still going to go through the process of how this is implemented. 3% on the dollar that you levied in the previous year, so 1.5 mils,
Okay.
the total dollar amount. So it's not on your budget.
So 1.5 mils is about how much dollars?
Didn't we say it was like 24,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could do 3% more than that. And she's right, the budget, this is, imaginary numbers.
Required.
It's possibly spent.
$750 more.
But
That's all the income you're gonna get from taxpayers.
So that's the only increase we can have is $750.
It's your 3%.
3%
The
on
state is
the-
mandating it, a 3% cap. That's the
So
increase
we're-
on everybody.
How do we get back to our 3 mils then, to where that becomes our issue?
We can't.
We don't.
Everybody is now subject to not getting to your max levy amount. The county is subject to the 3% cap. We're all
We
capped.
could have levied 60 mils for the county, and we're at what, like 10?
15.
But we could,
15? So we're
But we-
never gonna get back to 60, ever.
The max levy limits do not matter anymore, basically, unless you're already at your max. Because of this bill that passed the House and the Senate, you're capped at a 3% increase on the dollar, regardless of where you're at with your levy amount, regardless of if you're at the max or not. You're stuck at the 3% or no increase.
So it looks to me like this county board of commissioners may pay for things out of the general fund is going to be our only route to really access bigger dollars for
Pretty much.
building or equipment in big numbers.
And
They're allowed
really,
to do that.
realistically, yes.
And they are. It's sitting right here. Yeah. So but that does very much clarify that. So we're
I mean, you can ask, as far as your budgeted expenditures go, you can ask for whatever you want to. The commissioners will look at that and they'll approve or say, oh, we gotta cut this or whatever. Typically, they don't cut it, but they're looking now at, we're stuck at what we brought in last year plus possibly a 3% increase.
okay.
So,
So it looks like 24,000 plus roughly. We could maybe possibly budget $25,000 coming in from mill levies conservatively. Okay.
and I will get more training on this on June 16th,
As
so.
long as you're here, you got 5,700 in the totals. We just scribbled out.
Oh yeah, it auto formulates for me in that column on the spreadsheet, so yeah, that's fine.
You'll add it all up.
Yes, it'll get all added up in there
Okay.
once it gets entered, but no, I just caught that, and it's not 3% on your budget, it's on your levies. So, and the balance that you guys currently have is like 150,000 or something roughly of your fund. So that goes, your 75% carryover is based on now this budget, and so if you're at, $150,000, there's your budget. You don't have to worry about the carryover necessarily, so. Because you have it all allocated out. I mean, your salary is always coming out of there for Brittany, and then Rick's cover for weed control officer and whoever's doing spraying. That's an automatic, here's our allocated. If that gets us to that where you don't have to do with the carryover, that helps. But for anything else, like purchases wise, we still need kind of like hey, we found this $40,000 whatever, $15,000 whatever.
It has to do that.
So, yep.
That's still confusing, but I'm glad you
I know
became
it's
this top
very
to that.
confusing, but
Very confusing.
yeah, it is very confusing.
You have other money that comes in though, not just property tax. When wind towers, when we get that money, and that gets allocated or appropriated across all the funds, based on how much mill levy they, or what they they're levying the big, like 1.5. So if you look at the revenue sheet for this year, this 38,931.59 is what James projected for tax money coming in, even though the 1.5 mils was worth a lot less than that. That's with us taking into consideration that we have pipeline money and electrical and telecommunications and intel money that comes from the state. So all these funds usually get more money than they levy because of that, and that's, as far as I know, is not included in that 3% cap, is it? I mean, that's money that shows up.
That's still a gray area, that's why I have to get some intensive training on it.
Okay, we're 2 lines away.
So if we, just to give you an idea where we're at, last year we were budgeted at 122,827. If you go off of this one here so far, we're at 126,725. With leaving the last 2 blanks 0.
36.
126,725. And so are we okay with that number? Because that's exceeding the extra $750 that you're telling us we have flexibility.
Well,
And remember, this is fictitious
your
numbers anyways.
your budgeted expenditures are, they're separate from what you're bringing in, like your levy money, but you have to take that into consideration on top of what's already in your balance of fund.
You would basically
To
add
account
what's
for
coming into what you
You're
have,
projected.
and that's how much money you got, and then,
Yeah, but we don't, you just said we don't really know that.
well, no, but this is actual money, this is money.
But what's
that's there.
coming in, you said we don't know.
Well,
I won't know how much anybody's bringing in until after June 10th when the valuations get approved at the commission meeting.
then we'll know what the
And
number
then
is.
I will know how
But
much
we
you
have to
guys are
turn this in
actually
by
bringing
June
in.
9th.
Correct.
We can turn it in. And
That will be fine.
I think that at the end of the day, if we come in at 135,000, remember this isn't like we're going to spend
You're not gonna spend
135,000.
it all necessarily anyways, but you're projecting that you may have these expenditures, and
Yes.
a lot of the times you will come in under that by quite a bit. But you always want to account for potential expenditures. That's why we always shoot high with expenditures and low with revenue, and always hope that it goes the other way.
I wouldn't object to putting in the 10,000 just under machinery, just in case we do decide to go and buy it. Maybe something changes and we find an employee and things totally change in the next 3 months. I don't know.
Or about something for a bill.
Huh?
I would like to see us add a line item in there, and if we are over our 75%, that money gets transferred into that account, so we actually have something to work with if we do find a building option down the road.
Cause I think that's our first step forward. Is that's something to work out of. If we don't have.
Yeah.
But the congregating point to,
Well, and one of the things we're just talking about is where we're gonna store the equipment that we do have.
Right. I mean, it's, we don't have that, we really can't step forward. And we're out of.
Yes, we had a good visit with Commissioner Dewsbone last week, and he said that we should work on a building, more or less.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that's a big step. We can get something formed there. And then it's a little more positive forward after that, as far as coming forth with equipment, employee. On this employee thing, I look at it, it's gonna need supervision. We just can't, we can hire, but who we trust, and
Well,
that's
he has to be
something
certified.
Yeah, right,
We probably pay for that too. As a board, I'll maybe that if they're not already certified.
So do we want, we'll get to the line item on the Gene, I'm not,
No, that's fine, that's fine.
do we wanna put the 10,000 into machinery?
I think
What's everybody, what, there?
my thought would be is that at least,
Why not put it in?
yeah,
It's just a fictitious thing.
Okay, we're gonna go 10,000 in there and.
Just
Just
so.
each get. Of course you're gonna know.
Well, that's the thing, yeah, we could all use.
I would say that at least we're looking like we're trying to develop a plan to utilize their tank funds by putting it in there. Even though that comes, 7,500 of that would come back if we just spend up to that amount. But at least it looks like we're, working towards a plan.
Okay, we put 10 in there. Miscellaneous, we didn't use any, was budgeted 500. 500 couldn't be good enough. Want more?
We don't use that usually because we have all the other lines. We didn't used to have all the other lines, so we don't really have any miscellaneous expenses, but we
We'll
won't
put
have
500 in there and
What qualifies as miscellaneous?
anything that doesn't fit in the other lines.
okay, line item for a building.
Okay, so I'm just gonna come back at this from devil's advocate point of view. The building's great, but once again, when I look across the county, they're maybe thinking about the building now, but up until this time, the equipment gets parked at the county shop. Unless, of course, it's gonna be 4 a.m. and Brad and his crew are going spraying, and it's parked outside Brad's house, right? Nobody has a problem with that, because they know exactly where it's gonna go. Up until this point, yes, it's technically weed board equipment, but it's not really, it's county equipment. If this board disbands, that equipment goes to the county, it doesn't go to each of us. Seems very simple to me to put this equipment and also maybe actually at this point legally binding that we put this equipment at the county shop where it belongs, like all the
They
other
did
county
make room
equipment.
for it.
They did make room
They
for
made
it.
room for it. Chemical storage can be covered by a container that is set up correctly.
We bought those.
We've got that.
But I mean like a shipping container that's sealed and rolled in. We don't have that much chemical storage left over, right? I guess what I'm saying is, as a taxpayer who's newly on this board, I think we should start doing something more than the cost share program before we ask for a building. Because we have location, we have budgeting for that. We're gonna need paperwork to prove it, or they're just gonna cut it straight out of our fund. So if
Well,
we have
the
a
commissioners have promised us that if we ever decide to go forward with something like this, the money is there.
Exactly, so we don't need to put it in here. We need to have 3 or 4 meetings over the summer and come up with a plan.
Okay.
That's what I would
agree
say.
with- I can agree with that.
So I know that, once again, looking across the county, because we're all familiar with it. It might be at that point now, but up until now, every time you drive on Chaffee Road in Beulah, that equipment's parked at the county shop. You know?
What kind of room did they make?
That new building.
What new
There's a
building?
new building behind the one you can see at the
It's basically a cold storage
cold
building.
storage.
Just south of the
Just south of the big
original
building.
shop.
Yeah, they just store things in there.
So there's room, and really at this point, I think honestly we'll get to that later, but that's where it should be right now anyway. Liability concerns a big portion of it.
For insurance, yeah.
So we're sitting here and some of us are farmers and we don't have a lot of time until next December. So like, who has time to research locations and purchase prices and get building quotes? You know, that's where we're at, and I don't think $75,000 is gonna build us a building. I had a pole barn quoted last year with nothing in it and it was over 100,000.
He talked about, Commissioner Griswold talked about it being on the county property down there.
Mm-hmm.
I said I have no qualms with that. Just so we get something once.
Right. So that would be a conversation to have with county again as we go forward to me. Then it's there, shows good faith. In my opinion, we should be doing these weed ditches anyway, or road ditches anyway. That's like I say, that's what we see that works. You know, and then the county budget doesn't have a problem paying us because we're actually doing something that's useful for the community. Not that the cost share isn't. The cost share is a huge benefit, right? I've said this before, I said this in the commission meeting. That's a good thing, but I think we could do more.
Okay.
So that's my opinion on that. If the funds are already there, then let's make a plan and they can approve it mid-season, right? If they want to.
Well, we're always able to. There's a portion of Century Code that says once you turn in your budget, this is for taxing entities, you can't amend that, but that means your tax levy. You can never increase your tax levy. But throughout the year, right underneath that line, it says a budget can be amended throughout the year as there are unforeseen expenditures or revenues that come in. You adjust that because there may be something that comes up that you say, oh, we really need this. Let's amend our budget to account for that. That we're able to do that. I've done a lot of checking on that because I know that's been questioned before if we're able to do that or not, so.
And I believe the commissioners have said there's money sitting there, right? If we have a plan, then there's money sitting there. So in some ways, they're a little bit obligated. If we did come up with a legitimate plan with budgets, they're a little bit obligated to at least consider that.
I mean, in Century Code, it says that a county commission must fund a weed control program, whether that's through the general fund or a separate noxious weed control fund, or both, if it warrants it. So
Okay, so we're not gonna do a line item for building.
Actually, I think you should put it in that line item, but I mean, that's up to you guys.
I offhand, I don't know what the construction line number is.
How big was your building that you said?
That was a straight up pole barn and it was 40 by 60.
40 by 60.
And that was built, but there was nothing in that.
No wiring, no concrete, nothing.
That's a pretty large building for.
Yeah.
I agree. What
we
I'm
would
saying
need
is there's
all
nothing
that.
in it. This you're gonna need concrete, you're gonna need wiring, you're gonna need finishing on the
We
inside.
just had a 30 by 60 built at the 4-H camp about a month ago, and it was 53,000.
Yep.
Materials and constructed.
Was that just a shell?
It's a shell with a 10-foot garage door and a walk-in door and 4 windows.
Cement?
The cement was there. That did not include cement.
Correct.
And
And
you
on
guys have been talking about a heated building.
Well, a little portion of it, just to keep the chemicals in and stuff.
how much,
Do we
can I ask the
carry over
question, how
one?
much carryover did we have last year? How many pallets?
It was on one pallet.
One
I
pallet.
wouldn't do the fall orders because we didn't.
Yeah,
have
we
room
didn't.
for it.
We didn't have a fall program because we didn't know.
So we had one pallet to carry over and this was what, stacked way high? No, just like how many jugs?
I'm gonna say total of maybe 50 gallons of stuff. Varying.
So couldn't we just call the producers that have, if we have a chemical carryover this year, couldn't we just go down our list of producers and say, hey, we've got a little bit of chemical carryover. You guys have heated shops or a place to keep this, but we don't need to. We will sell it to you now. Like nobody knows that you have carryover. I guarantee it. But I'll bet you the producers would take it off your hands. I have a heated shop. If I could get my
Well,
chemical
right
from
now-
exterior and help people out, I'd take 2 or 3 jugs.
We stored it free of cost. I'm not gonna say that's gonna continue.
Yeah, that was just
And where do we store it?
Enter base.
So there is another option here. Well, we don't need to go there, but Enterbase may be willing to do the exact same thing that CHS is doing for them, and we don't even have to worry about chemical storage. And the only difference would be that people would have to drive to Hazen or Washburn to pick up their cost share. That would be the other option. They could make a little money on the chemical. Chemical would be available. We don't have to worry about safety, equipment, material, or liability.
That being Mercer County gonna be an issue then?
I don't think so, if it was sourced just because we don't have a location here.
And I talked to, Mr. I don't remember his name over here as far as storage last fall. And, he agreed to storage, but he wanted it out of the way through the spring, through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Cause they are full, the place is full. and
In
storage.
Hazen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as them dispersing, doing our cost share stuff. CHS and Beulah has made mention to the commissioners and to Brad that, due to, lack of workforce, they're gonna probably discontinue that service there too. And Brad's looking for, he mentioned a trailer the other day on the phone when I talked to him as far as where to park this location and have it safely dispersed. Like if we go down to the shop in the county shop in Oliver County and we have our cost share deal and they're moving equipment and it's a busy parking lot in there and then we have people coming in and out, I feel that would be just like, it's a zoo, it can be an anthill. And then we're in the middle of all that. That's why I shy from the county shop for
Usually their machines are, they're busy at 7 in the morning and then they're out on the road. And then they come back in at 4:30 or 5. There's not usually anybody out at the shop during the day.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of roads to cross, I guess.
Okay.
we would be in compliance on that.
Do we want to put a line item on for building?
That would,
I just don't know what the number is without looking it up.
you could do that in a motion to create a line item for a,
I don't know that you have to, you just,
you said you wanted official record that,
well, it would have to just be in the,
right, but you can make a motion that we create a line item.
Well, is there any more discussion on, is this something we want to do?
We can make a line item, it doesn't matter if you don't put any
I mean, we can
numbers
throw
on
it
it.
in there, I mean, it
You can
just,
just put it in the notes.
Okay,
Whenever
in
somebody
notes.
adds a line item, they just put it in there that say, please add this line item with this dollar amount because it's not on there. So then when I'm redoing these spreadsheets for the next year and for the final allocation amount, it just gets added on there.
please add line item. Do you want a motion?
I would, then there's a
Just for
record of that.
that, if something unforeseen comes forward,
Okay.
so well, this opens up that at least we got something there. I mean, I'm hearing all sides here, and it's, there's a ton of options out there. And as to what comes forward first is, let's try to be prepared for every one of them, I guess.
So what do we want to call it? The weed board building?
it would just be the line would be the construction line. I don't know what the code
For
is.
construction of weed board building.
Or purchase, or something, maybe Dollar General.
That'd be nice building.
That's sad that
Do I have a motion to add a line item for a weed board building?
So we'll,
Second, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Motion carried. An amount?
I would say that, the one thing you could look at too is if we are having this issue of what is in excess of the 75%, I would say that gets transferred into that account.
Well, it's not a separate account. It's just in your
It's a line
reward
item.
fund. It's a line item. It doesn't, no money from your fund gets moved out or anywhere. It just sits in your fund.
Right. But
So-
it stays there.
But it
and
would be
it's-
allocated for that purpose.
And it's not counted towards our 75% carryover.
Well, it would be your obligated amount, so then that way that your 75% carryover doesn't account for that
Yes.
portion.
As long
Yeah.
as we've got a paper trail to attach to the financial statement.
When you say the paper trail,
Well, we would need like a proposal, quotes,
Actually,
I mean, we will have none of this. Would you have none of this before this?
No, this would have to be before the end of the year when the budget's, when the year closes.
it's close.
To carry it over into next year. We would have to have some kind of paperwork saying we have allocated X amount of dollars for this purpose. And, not just, and we have to have paper to attach, so like some not bids, but just.
Doesn't the motion by the weed board to create that account suffice that?
I don't know.
The way
Okay,
I understood it,
you were 30 by 60? How much?
we paid about 50, I'm gonna get it right, like 54,000. Materials constructed, no concrete.
no concrete. So chemical storage is gonna need a buffer,
We know.
all that stuff.
part of it anyway.
And yeah.
So you're,
Well, you were at
you're
what?
talking more. It was bigger, we were 40 by 60.
And for 75,000?
16.
Was this with the sewer or just?
No.
That has nothing to do with the one I did here. This is over at the 4-H camp.
This, we would have to do this in steps, don't you
I
think?
agree, Brian. We're just shooting in the air here. We need to have a size, we need to have a location, we need to get bids,
Well, the location, I can already tell you, we're probably gonna end up down there.
probably. So,
Um,
but then you're talking electrical, you're talking some sort of drains. No, actually.
No,
your
there's no
system,
drain.
chemical, You don't
you
want
might
it.
have to have a water hose go to it,
Could maybe on the floor.
Yeah,
but, I'm gonna put in there.
If you wanted bathrooms, I mean, that stuff that can be added.
Okay, if we're at the county shop, they've got bathrooms, don't
They
they?
have bathrooms. $1,000 portable shower eye wash station hooked to a hydrant on the outside qualifies. They set these things up everywhere. So, you know, like you need a spill kit, you need containment. Containment's the biggest thing. So it doesn't have to be a furnished office space with walk-in showers. Like, if you get pesticide on you, you're not really worried about it. You just want to get it off.
We've got those portable containers, you know,
Yeah.
the big
The
troughs.
pallets.
I didn't have running water in my shop when I was a commercial sprayer, and I just had a shower station hooked to a hydrant, and we had PPE hanging on the wall, and it passed inspection every time they were out. So like,
And I can run a
some of
I
that,
could run a water hose from a hydrant to a shower head.
absolutely. Yeah. They even
This
sell
is something-
self-contained ones that you can set in the corner on the inside when it's heated. That has 35 gallons of reservoir.
I don't know, did I ever show you this, Rick? This was 30 by 40. It's not to scale, it's just something I drew up on my own.
I think I've seen them.
Okay, you wanna look at it? You know, there would be, this we could put a wall across here and heat this little area if we had to. If we had pallet racking even, you could store, I don't know how much in there if you really wanted to. You know, Rick furnishes his Bobcat, his forklift unload this stuff for us. We've got the ATV, we've got a small sprayer. That would all fit. I mean, pick up everything. And this is 30 by 40.
That's a good size building. That's what size my farm shop is. You're amazed how much stuff you can get in a building.
And it, like, we would be able to have a spot for an office or a bathroom if we really needed it.
Which could be added later. So then,
This would be the only place.
have you had this quoted?
No, I have not. I don't know. This would be the only place we really actually need the cement concrete containment
Right.
And heating.
and heated if we wanted to do that. I really believe we could get by with 30 by 40.
Yeah, probably.
We basically would have till the end of the year to get some
Quotes.
quotes or some
You
paper.
last time you went to Wagon Wheel,
We actually had, Wagon Wheel, we actually had some local people here that put a bid in for the plumbing and the electrical. I had all that. I still got it in the file here.
I mean, if we could get a building built, that would be the first. Get it where we're going to put it and get a shell up in 1 year. I would be ecstatic. You know, and after that, we'll work on the inside or whatever.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, get a quote. I think it's going to be over 75,000 by the time it all gets done.
by the time, especially if you want to insulate and
only depends on how high it is.
Yeah.
We just did some cement work out here. We did
yes,
the
I know.
sidewalk, from the sidewalk out
I
to
know
the
it's-
street back there, and then under the
pretty-
canopy out to the street, and it was $40,000.
Just for the cement.
Just for the cement.
I know.
Well, they had to remove it also, so there was cost for removal.
Right, for removal, but that's a lot of money for that little bit of walking.
But then we have to talk about, we'd have to talk about insurance and stuff on this too, and.
Well, if it's built on county property, which
that-
it should be, that covers
covers
under
a lot of
the
that.
county's NIDRF liability.
Liability, but the building itself would have to be insured.
Still be insured.
A premium on that,
We
right?
just add a new building to it. Yeah,
Well,
no,
no, it'd come out of our insurance line because it's all under the same insurance
Okay,
policy.
somebody give me a number.
Don't look at me.
I don't know.
For,
For the building?
yeah, just to put in there.
To me, if you're going to go total expense, I think 100,000 is possibly even underestimating when you think about concrete. But again, we're not going to concrete everything, and you can do it in phases too. But your building is gonna run you, let's just say 70,000. Granted, you don't have to do much dirt work, that's pretty level ground out there, but if they're gonna, I guess the first thing is see if the county is willing to give us space,
That's what I mean.
or where they're gonna put it.
I honestly, I'm gonna go back to what I said before, we can create a budget line item out of thin air, but to me, this seems like a summer-long project, and then it's to address it next year after we have solid quotes, cause who's gonna get it built this year? If you're not on the list right now, could we even get on the list? I don't know.
Well, at most put a dollar amount down.
I'm gonna put 75,000.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, we've amended the budget before.
Right.
And-
If it needs to be amended to higher, there's always that option, but like you
And
guys
there's
are
always
saying,
the
come
option
up
that
with
they
a
say no
plan
to.
and bring it to the commissioners, so that way you have something, and then you can say, hey, can we amend it, and it'll be.
The first part of a plan to me has always been having money to pay for something before you even start on it. So, okay.
Yeah.
Anybody wanna look at this before I hand it to Jaden?
You have a motion to approve the budget as presented,
Okay,
right?
I'm not really, because the commissioners
The
approve it.
commissioners will approve the
No,
final budget.
yeah, we've never before, we've never worked on the budget
No,
as a board before. Do I need to sign anything?
Yes, where it says department head, please sign
Okay.
that. Or I'll be coming after you to get it signed at some point, so.
Yeah,
Today is the 20th.
the 20th.
Of May, which they're saying an inch of snow tonight, so hey, tell me how that works.
90 degrees last.
Look this over, Jaden, see if everything's
Don't know what
right
going on.
on it.
10 years. That's nothing.
Well, it froze in our place.
It's all filled out. I can't tell you guys how to do your budget other than like, as long as you.
But I
fill it
mean,
out and-
it's per way, you don't have to call me and say, hey,
No, everything's
Alright.
filled out. Like I said, your budget is not the same thing as your levy. That's where we're capped at the 3%. But because of Century Code, the county commission, the general fund is also obligated to help control noxious weeds in the county, so.
could you make a copy of it for me?
Yes, I can
I
do
would,
that.
I would like that, and I could lose it with the rest of them.
Oh, okay.
My office would be.
I'm gonna open this door because it's getting a little stuffy in here.
Okay.
It's hot in this room. Budget line item for air conditioning just for this room. Holy smokes.
Update the maps. The,
The lines,
no, not the lines,
the district lines, or you?
we just wanna,
Oh, you just,
we need to,
yeah, we need to get Dwayne's name off there.
right,
Our only option at the moment is whiteout, and it can, because I've not been able to get Mercer County to print us new maps.
we can't, with all of our technology, we can't,
Oh, I can Photoshop it, I can make copies and then use whiteout and type a name in and then make more copies. That's the best we can do.
okay, and we wanna number these districts.
Yeah, can we number them?
Number them instead of names?
No, we want our
Number and.
number,
We gotta fill out an app, say for, Daryl's. and-
yeah,
That's fine.
somebody, they're gonna put it in the paper.
District was
Somebody
numbered three.
write what numbers you want on there so that I know what to do in the.
Thank you very much.
Just go clockwise from top left, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4. Like,
Yep, up to 7, I don't care. No, I don't
Oh, then
care
I
who's
can-
number 1 or what. We just need to know this is your district, this is who you call if.
Not knowing where we live.
And Darren is in Dwayne's, right?
Right.
Yes, Darren should be
at large.
at large in Dwayne's.
Anything else you need?
No, I don't.
Budget, levy, any questions before I?
I got one.
Okay.
Okay, the auditors are coming on the 2nd and the 3rd,
Second and third, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I know they're gonna be busy.
Mhm.
Is there any time we could maybe have them talk to the weed board? No, it doesn't have to be during this time. Maybe we could have a meeting sometime,
I don't know how open their schedule is.
I can ask them.
yeah,
I mean, I can definitely ask them.
What would we want
just talk to us about how things are going to go. Everybody has a different opinion. and I'd like to hear it from them.
Or if they could give us 10 minutes when they're here.
Well, that's what I wondered, but they're gonna be busy, they said.
I mean, they get here at 8, then they
And
probably
believe
don't.
me, there'll be questions. And it will take longer than we think.
I don't even know that it has to be a meeting, but if there's maybe one or maybe two board members that could just.
I'd like the whole board to be there.
So what's the question then? What's the concern that we would need to talk to the auditors for?
Well,
They're just here to make sure the books are right on the state level.
we've got so many conflicting opinions on how things are, of like us getting money from, how do I want to say it? And if you don't think it's a good idea,
I don't know that they would have time.
I know they're not going to have time doing your audit.
I feel like it's pretty well spelled out in here as far as the century code, as far as where the funds come from and where they don't.
Well,
Do you have
I think they're
input
still
on this? What
questioning the
questions would you ask them that the commission
They're
is
still
not
questioning the
Well, I think
transfer.
that the difference.
already said?
Yeah, the question is the transfer of funds. Is that how did they view that the 75% carryover? I think that's kind of a big one.
And I guess you know,
and I'm not
No,
pointing
I
fingers
know.
at anybody.
I know.
I just like,
I have spoken with our audit company about this, and most of the time, any of this question, they will refer to Century Code or the state attorney. And that'll probably be the common answer that you'll get after I spoke with them to ask them about this transfer, because I know Rick had called them and asked, and he called me and asked what was going on. He said, no, there's nothing wrong with how that was done. So.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I just, and if it's a bad idea, we don't have to do
Well,
it.
if you want me to ask them, I can definitely ask them, but I can't guarantee that.
No, I mean, ask them.
Yeah.
Don't you, I think if they came to one of our meetings someday and just let us ask them questions and stuff.
They charge $14,000 for 2 days.
I don't think we
Okay,
want to
so
put
they
that on
charge
the
us-
budget.
They would probably
That's what
charge
we're
us.
paying for
All
2
right.
days of
Okay,
transfer.
it's a bad idea then, scratch it.
I feel like if you
It's
guys go
expensive.
back and read your century code, we are,
I've read that baby, I don't know how many
we are
times. and
underneath the commissioners, and what they
I-
choose to do
Well, I'm
with
just
our
saying.
extra money is really up to
I
them.
believe you.
$14,000 for 2 days of their time.
Okay, it's a bad idea then.
17,000.
Oh God, 17 it went up.
We'll let it go. Okay, thank you, Jim.
Yeah, no problem. If you need anything else,
Okay.
I'm leaving at.
The maps, are we good with the maps?
Yep, I'll look
Update.
at them in my spare time.
Okay, but I want them in the paper. I want them in the Senate Republican. I shouldn't say I want them.
Well-
As a board, I think we should put
need
them
to
in
put
there.
it in there before because we don't have any openings. What would be the purpose of, so people know?
So people know who's,
Okay.
Who
Yeah, that's
contact
fine.
in their area.
yes,
That
yes.
would
sure.
come under the publishing bill, but we'll.
Yep.
Okay.
Give us my phone number and put me in
Yeah,
there, that's
put his
just
name,
fine.
get his name updated on there.
Everybody should be available here, this is the public office.
You can put,
Yeah,
Well, that
you
was
don't
the
have
next
to
thing.
change mine because I absolutely do not answer.
Does everyone
my
want
phone.
cell phone numbers? Because right now it's house phone numbers.
Yeah, I don't want house phone number, that's
I
just.
have a
my-
house phone, but I don't answer it, so,
You can put my cell phone number.
okay.
cell phone, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I,
Jean.
cell phone, you got them all?
Yeah, I do.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Well, they can try a couple of times or leave them.
One thing about it, you can leave a message, but you can't call.
Yes, okay, next on the agenda. Are you gonna take care of putting it in the paper then too?
Yeah, well, do you want
Once-
us to, do you wanna approve the map when I get done with it? Or Do you
Probably,
think- we can maybe manage that on our own?
Do you trust Linda and I?
Just put the people who are current members in the district and their phone numbers.
yeah.
We're
I-
not
I mean,
changing,
we
we're
just-
not changing lines.
No,
No,
we just have to
we're
edit
just-
the map to get the names
We're
correct.
just gonna number them, get it, and get the current phone numbers and
District
and then I would like it in the papers, so people.
It might take a few weeks,
That's fine.
pretty small.
Okay.
Just for information.
Legality of chemical purchases for non-land owners.
Correct. So I had put this on the agenda and the sale of chemical to the Bison Wind Farm, I feel like is outside of the lines of the office. And I guess I'd like Rick to explain his thought process in selling chemical to them as a non-private landowner.
What I would say is that I've asked the question to the person that was saying that I kind of locked the hands of the weed board and on the Public Service Commission. He's like, if that come across that way, he's like, I try to be very careful that I never say that, things like that. And what his vision is, there's probably a
What are
long
we
story.
talking about first?
Um,
You haven't said any names.
with Randy Crispin, I did talk to him.
Okay.
And so what his comment was is that he would like entities to have a noxious weed plan if they're coming in to get permitted. And so in a conversation, I said, but the weed board doesn't write ordinances. And his comment was, well, they just built this wind tower or the generation line from Stanton to up north. And he found out there is no weed board that actually has ordinances. And so if they want to go that route, ordinances are determined by planning and zoning. And so in the conversation, we kind of talked this all through, and he's like, if your local planning and zoning wants to develop an ordinance that they need to have a noxious weed management plan, they can do that. And the weed board would be the one to approve a plan. And he's like, they cannot start, if there's an ordinance that says they need a noxious weed management plan, they cannot turn a wheel until the weed board would approve that plan. And I think, and that's perfectly right. Planning and zoning writes ordinances. Weed boards can approve a plan, and if it fits our needs, and that's where that's at. And we both agree that's right. So the question is that then I called Samantha McGrath, and who is the pesticide. She basically oversees part of the pesticide program with the Department of Ag, and I asked the question: Are there any guidelines as to who we can sell chemical to? And her answer is, it's up to your local board. There's no restrictions for selling it as long as it's to control noxious weeds within the county and weeds that are on the noxious weed list. And we have nothing that says that we are going to restrict sales from anybody versus as long as it's for noxious weed control within the county. And so I've always treated it that way. It's whether we don't pick and choose as long as it's sprayed here, that's fine.
Well, okay, so you talked about the ordinances, and that's something to get to in the future. We can recommend, as a weed control board, we can recommend ordinances that can be enacted by the commission and then enforced, or planning and zoning, however.
Planning and zoning could.
We're an advisory board, if nothing else, and then we're an enforcement agency also, right? We can go out and look and see that it's not there or not being done correctly, and then we can submit that to the commissioners, right? That
The
has nothing.
commissioners on the end have the final
They do.
approval of everything.
Yes, they do, absolutely. But if they approve a set of rules that we have submitted or suggested, then it becomes law, right? To a certain extent. That has nothing to do with you selling chemicals to Bison Wind Farm without you notifying your board. So since I've been appointed on this board, I've gotten multiple phone calls of why in the world is the board selling to a out-of-state entity that is for profit.
We were just asked by NextEra if they could buy from us,
Right.
and we thought they could.
I don't have a problem with them buying chemical, but I don't think they should get it for cost share price.
Agreed. This is taxpayer money that's supposed to be those companies are supposed to be bringing funds back in, not costing us. And I talked with Rebecca Ogard, and this is her response. If you want to read it, you can. So to use the cost share program in a county, it requires you to own land in that county, and you aren't supposed to use that chemical on land owned in a different county.
But it also says landowner and its occupants.
You're right.
These-
Some counties will look up the producer and verify acreage amounts before even selling the chemical to make sure the amount of chemical requested is justified by the land that is owned. If we go down this path of handing out cost shared chemical, and you're right, cost share is the key word. If we want to market chemical to people, that's fine. Let's make a profit on it, great. But if we're going to use taxpayer dollars, this is a program that's designed for county land owners. The way I read Century Code,
And its occupants. These wind farms are its occupants.
they are its occupants, but where does this stop? Does Minn Kota get to come out here? Does North American Coal get to get stuff for their stuff? This is another thing I checked with Mercer County on, and he said they turned down these companies because where does it stop?
Okay.
Yeah, so real problem with it, and also real problem that you did it without checking with your board. Do you have that authority?
Do I?
Did you get a certified applicator's number?
Absolutely, if it's restricted use.
Yep. Did you get the funds on board? I guess what I'm saying is you made a pretty good call here to go away from the normal action.
Define normal. Here's the thing. The board has never told me that I'm not supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do make some decisions based on if the board feels that I shouldn't sell to them, hey, that's fine. We've never addressed it before.
Right. But don't you think you should have maybe talked to at least the president of the board and said, hey, this is a little out of the normal?
I will follow what the direction of the board is.
Okay.
Basically,
So then what I'd like to do is make a motion that if there's any chemical sold to anybody but a resident or a landowner, that he needs to talk with the
You've
board.
got on here non-landowners. We could have renters that are non-landowners.
But I am supposed to provide proof of where that goes. And also, so far I have not.
I don't think these guys took it anywhere else
But we
other
don't
than the
know.
wind farm.
Do we know?
if they get land that justifies the amount that they're getting, I've never questioned that any other landowner.
But maybe we should.
Well, we can in the future.
What I would say is that, I think that they're actually providing a service. Now, they could make it really difficult and make the landowner. Here's the other thing that's unique in this. There's no ordinance that says they have to spray weeds.
Generally, at least with NextEra, it's in their easement leases. So
That's between the landowner and them.
You're right.
No different than the county.
But we don't need to beg them to spray weeds with taxpayer-funded dollars.
So the other avenue that they could do is make every landowner come in and get the chemical cost shared and then bring it to them so they can spray it.
So, Rick, you seem to be dodging the thing that this is a billion-dollar corporation that has enough money to buy chemical at regular price.
But
And
we
we're
are
going to go
also
back to the same
we
thing
are
again.
also obligated. You just said to help whatever goes on in the county with weeds.
You are right, but I don't think that necessarily covers taxpayer money. If not, then why not BNI? Why not Minn Kota? I used to spray an $85,000 contract with Minn Kota back in the day. How come I didn't come here and get cost share?
I don't know. If they ever asked.
They have the right to come and ask because they're basically paying landowner taxes.
I feel like this is a shady line that we're going to start walking down when we start using taxpayer money for out-of-state corporations.
Okay.
So
And
it's-
I would say you're entitled to that opinion, and if it passes the board, that's what I'll implement.
Yes. Well,
But,
So we can sell them chemical, but I would make a motion that Bison Wind Farm and all non-landowners have to pay the full price for the chemical.
I don't know about the non-landowners. I guess
We
the
can word it
landowner.
differently. Do you have renters coming in that are getting chemical for a landowner's land that they are
I'm
renting?
sure we do.
yes, because most of the landowners, if they're renting it out, they don't have a license. And the renter's the one that's maybe has in their contract, they need to take care of the weeds. I
But
would
it's-
say that's a very common thing.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
It's still a different thing than them applying that
In what way?
because of their structure. like, that's the part we keep coming back to, you know? They're a business that's supposed to be bringing chemical in, or excuse me, money in, not getting our taxpayer funded dollars back.
We reimbursed every dime that we.
No, we're not.
We're not.
We get about,
On a cost share?
we get about,
We get about 40% back.
yeah,
They pay 20, we get 40 back, and so
Okay.
just on the Bison Farm chemical that Ryan picked up, $775. It cost the county roughly $279 in taxpayer money.
Right.
So 36%.
Yeah, that's a clear line. Okay, so we don't word it with out of state for-profit corporations.
Non-resident maybe? I don't know.
that you're gonna get in trouble with a lot
Yeah,
of
'cause there's lots of
absentee landowners.
Few absentee landowners.
But the people that rent would obviously be residents here probably, you know?
So doing commercial business.
Commercial, industrial, firm, businesses, maybe, that would be a good line. For planning and zoning, we have, residential, commercial,
I don't know, I just believe we should help
industrial,
these
commercial.
guys.
No, I don't. Look at what they've done to our county.
What have they done?
The
We
most,
had a constant fight with next year.
and it won't stop.
You can't base it on whether they're, if
How much money does one wind tower bring into the county?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I don't
Because
have
their
access
numbers
to
aren't
that.
accurate.
I don't have access to that program.
The point is, Rick, I don't know why we need to bend over as taxpayers to get these companies to do their job. All we gotta do is go to the commissioners and say, spray your weeds. Just like the mine has to spray their weeds, and they pay outside contractors to do it.
Sure.
So that's where I'm at, is wind farms, mines, utility companies, they're all paying outside companies. I used to spray for Oliver Mercer, noxious weeds, and Sterilant. They paid full rate. They never even tried to apply for a cost share because they have their heads screwed on straight. But these wind farms seem to be able to think they can come in and get every avenue they can, and it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop.
They're not coming in and thinking, just because they ask that they can get cost sharing on the chemical, that they're, I find that
You should watch several of the commission meetings.
I
On
watch
tape.
the commissioners.
They are
meetings.
thinking they can do whatever they can get away with, and NextAir is the next one on the list.
Oh,
They just
what
got
I don't
fined
want to
again.
do is to start getting into, well, I like these guys and I don't like these guys, and then we have to start making a decision. And if that's the case, am I supposed to question everybody that buys chemical? And
I would think if you limited it to not selling cost share to commercial and industrial,
That would take care of it right there.
take care of it.
Yep.
I mean,
So,
I think that's
make it
available, but.
They could buy it for full price, but I'm sure they could go buy it themselves.
Yeah.
then we just give it to Scott and Miranda?
we give it to the county too.
But we don't because the state reimburses us, correct?
For the county, we don't.
We get it reimbursed for Scott and Miranda too.
For Scott and Miranda, we get 100% of it reimbursed, but not for the cost share
The
program.
cost share, we
So
get,
can you get Bison Wind Farm reimbursed through the state program?
we're still gonna
No,
eat
no.
$279.
Exactly.
That's the, my.
And if they come in, then BNI's next. Then the other companies are next. No, it's still not right.
Whatever the board wants to do, I
Yeah, it's
just
our
don't want to
decision.
start. If you're going to put me in a box where I'm going to
It's
have
our
to start
decision.
questioning that stuff, then that's fine. But
Well, we're not going to put you in a box, but I think checking with your board is probably something that would be called an employer relationship.
give me guidance. That's fine.
And that's what I'm
that's
doing.
What my job is.
So again, we need to go back to this motion and say that we can't sell to these companies at cost share prices.
How do we know it's legal or not? That's,
When I
Well,
talked to
it's probably the state's attorneys.
Samantha about it, she's like, the counties can implement whatever program they want. If we wanted to use the extra dollars that come from the mill levy, the weed board really sets up their own program locally. There is nothing wrong. We can actually put in for the reimbursement through the landowner assistance program for purchases that any entity that we sell chemical to, and they're gonna sign off on it. But it's up to the local board to determine what that looks like.
Okay, did you make a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so, but we're still wording it here. What do you have down? Do you have anything down? That we do not sell cost shared chemical. So cost share would be key, because we can sell them all the other chemical we want at for-profit margins.
Well, okay, we can sell them chemical if they want to buy it
I
from
don't
us.
believe we can sell them for profit. That would make us a reseller and we'd have to collect tax.
True.
We can
So at cost, so at
the
cost.
same way we do with soil conservation when they buy cast run.
They actually pay direct. We don't even get.
Right, I mean, but this wouldn't be an option for
I
them.
mean, honestly, this is silly because Bison should have had a commercial applicator and he should have provided them chemical as being the end user, and that would have been the end of it.
Is Ryan Zachmeyer a commercial? That's who picked it up.
I have no idea. If his number's down there, then that would be who
If he
they
purchased
The
restricted
chemical he got
chemicals,
wasn't restricted use.
then we would not ask him for a license.
He's who picked it up.
So I would make a motion that we, as a weed board in Oliver County, we do not sell cost shared chemical to, here's where we gotta list the people. Commercial entities,
Commercial and industrial, I guess.
commercial and industrial entities.
That should pretty much cover it.
Or, yeah, that should cover it.
Okay. Motion, does everybody understand it? Motion's been made not to sell cost share chemical
Right, not at the like 20% or 25.
to a commercial or industrial entity. Do we have a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
it.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. I'm opposing it.
You can do a roll call vote if you need to get it for the record.
Well, we have 2 for and 1 against. So it's,
Two or,
huh?
Only heard two.
I only heard,
There's 2 for and 1 opposed. So it supposedly
do you want to
passed.
abstain or do you, maybe, anyway, doesn't matter.
I think there's a lot left in the open there yet, so we're gonna find out down the road how that plays in effect.
This wording on this century code could put us on the hook for maintaining those public roads that NextEra has just.
Correct,
Just
you know,
made.
I just throw this out, I've been throwing this through my head, you know, if we did have an arsenal equipment and employee and stuff like that, when they come in here and they sign off for these projects and whatnot, could we make it mandatory that, they would use what we have? our
With
arsenal?
commissioner's approval, we could. We could implement those plans and that could go through planning and zoning.
That would be, you know, something that we could put forth, you know, as a kind of a stepping stone for us to, you know, move forward with what we have a view of or whatever, so,
They've actually asked if we have an employee that they could hire,
okay.
and, you know, that could solve a lot of problems too,
But that's a two-handed ask, because I have a landlord that's been trying to get them to hire Scott Miranda to do his private spraying, and they won't. They continue to get the sprayer out of Fargo. So they ask, and they may not do. So just put it in the back of your
That's
mind.
private.
That's private, but it's in their easement. on that.
The company had asked if we had somebody, and I give them Scott Miranda's name too.
But no, you're right, Gene, we
I
can't.
noticed.
We have a lot of power with the commissioner's
The
approval.
current
If we create an
problems.
ordinance.
Right, in that way, you know,
Get
that's
it
no
in writing.
different than with the tree service, cause they,
Get it
you know,
in
this
writing
is,
because they won't honor
this is
anything
our
else.
taxpayer, you know, tree service and whatnot, so, you know, make it mandatory, I guess, all through the commissioner stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel something, you know, that would come forth, that would be a kind of an ace for us to, you know, go forward with having equipment and cause I think there's gonna be a lot of demand for it.
Yep.
I think there's private people out there that would, you know, in talking to Brad, it's not a big, request, but it is there, you know, as far as, you know, it brings money back.
Yep.
Ryan Hilder Ranch down there, we hired that first year we were down there, the guy come out from Dodge, I ain't gonna mention names. It was crazy expensive, and it was not very well.
Yep.
The equipment failures and whatnot, but he was busy, you know, and at $150 an hour, he was busy, you know, it just, wow. You know, and that's when I started bringing it forth here, you know, I've seen that, you know, and, what the county is doing with their arsenal and what they're running up and down the streets now is out there is not effective.
Nope.
It's
Agreed.
not, you know, and that's kind of why I push to take Ben off the payroll until there is something that it's profitable and, you know, it's taxpayer money, paying for that and stuff. And when you watch them go down the road with the boom sticking out behind the truck and going against traffic and no lights on and, it's just like, we should not have to pay for anything like that. I think there's potential there, you know, if they could come with a good employee. Supervision is the biggest part of
We
it.
do have 2 new people. Thomas
Yes, we do,
Sowell
we do have 2
and,
new people, but they have to be, you know.
they're not
supervised.
qualified.
It's hard to train somebody, cause I had a contract where I did some road ditches, down in South Dakota, and I trained my kid to recognize leafy spurge, but I'd forgotten to tell him about yellow clover. And so we used a lot of chemical and killed a lot of yellow clover in the ditches down in South Dakota, and he was out of chemical, right? And so,
Okay, we have to keep going, guys.
okay, next one's there.
No,
Go ahead.
is this motion,
Oh, it's passed.
Yeah.
Passed. Next one is weed control officer policy and efforts. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this was, like I say, we've already kind of talked about this. I had that down, and then after I talked with Brad Seifert, I don't know if that's really, like, I don't know if you guys have seen these enforcement flow charts. They print them right on the website for noxious weed control. But this is basically, have you seen this, Rick? Yeah. So this is basically what they recommend as far as enforcement. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because if we do have an enforcement issue with the wind farm entities in our area, I realize that it goes back to the landowner, but at the same time, it comes back to us too. And if we go out and we look and we see a really bad spot, then that can come back to us as our responsibility to control the weeds along these right of ways. And I don't know if I necessarily like that. We can address it, like Gene said, if we have something. But if a landowner complains about a ditch over here and the landlord says, I don't have anything to do with that because the wind farm has it in their easement that they're supposed to take care of it, so it's not my problem. And then the landowner calls us and says it is actually your guys' problem because I don't want this mess. Now it comes back to us. So, like I say, going forward, it's all about the commissioners, but this is something that we may have to look into. Only because of the wreck that's going to happen out in our area. So,
There's gonna be a wreck coming in today, you can see on 21st where they comes up to the grass, it's full of, I was surprised by the spurge driving into the hole.
Spurge.
well, it's quick.
Yeah.
This year it's quick.
It's rolling crazy.
Nuts, you know, and then they disturbed the dirt mixed and, you know, and then they transfer stuff. So there's gonna be issues out there.
So I just
A
put
lot
this,
of them.
we're going to have our cell phones published. And when we get a call, this needs to be at least out there because we may or may not.
Well, we know we're
this.
going. I talked to Sarah again
Clear something
yesterday.
out, and then I probably asked this numerous times. are landowners allowed to spray the landowner, or the ditches? Is that the?
Yeah,
You
landowners.
can't, because
yeah.
I spray mine, and I was like, am I doing it wrong?
No,
Okay.
you technically you own up to the,
I know,
Center. But then
when
the
we
county is
first
supposed to
decided
kinda have
do it, they said,
responsibility.
well, they're not supposed to, that's why the county's gonna do it.
We don't have an employee for the county to do it.
Right,
And that
not
was-
anymore.
It's been 25 years that we've had that as our recommendation.
Right, and I've been spraying, and I'm like, am I doing it wrong, do I not understand?
There's so many out there that the landowners aren't even here right now.
That's
Yeah,
all about
that's-
country. It's
That's
all
the group
absentee.
that's we're missing.
Right, that's really come about, it's getting more to be more and more so. And a lot of practices with the, farmers that do rent, they have nothing to do with the ditch, they don't have no hay put up, they don't, they put in the rent in the land. The ditch has become an issue. By the middle of July, you're driving by sunflower plants and entwined with, bindweed and on cornfields on both sides of the road and deer popping through and whatnot. It's a safety issue. It's not a good thing. That should be sprayed way prior to that none of that stuff should materialize to that. Cut into ditches in late September, that's a county thing.
They only go down, as far as the,
Yeah,
so it's over the crest of the road, so.
right.
So there's like, 6 feet at most, whatever the
Oh,
whole
they did a
is.
good job on ours out
They
there.
do, if it's a slope ditch, but you get on, 14th up there and stuff, it's all mucker ditch,
Yeah.
it's hard, it's more of a chemical control there. Like your Uncle Perry used to just burn the shovels off, 4 feet down, it was, erosion probably wasn't the best thing, but, vision and safety was very, very, effective in that sense.
The only thing that's different in here, Darren, is that it's been many years ago. It says in here that the weed control officer can go and control the weeds and put the expense onto a levy.
mm-hmm. But with
Problem
approval
is-
by the agricultural commissioner and our
Actually,
county
it's
commissioners.
it's by the weed board actually can do that.
Mhm.
But the commissioners
With the
have final
commissioners,
approval
yes.
of
The
it.
commissioners, if they feel like we've done something wrong,
Right.
they can
So,
listen to that. But here's the difference between that, is that, first of all, does this entity actually pay taxes?
Mhm.
Okay, so we can add it to the taxes if we go and spray. What we've been told since day one is that the way we've been doing it is that we can levy a fine, but we do not go out and spray.
Right, that's
Because
the
we don't
way,
incur expenses. And then if we're not gonna bury the weed board, because we can't pick a person that might have 5 acres of a noxious weed versus someone with 5,000.
Right.
You're gonna treat everybody the same. And so we've always taken this, that we will levy fines. The thing of it is that we have, the way I understand it, is that we can only fine the landowner.
Mhm.
And so how do you go, let's say that you have a beef with this entity. If there's a report of a noxious weed, who is the board, probably come through me as weed control officer, who is the board gonna find? It's our job to find the landowner.
Exactly.
It is not the entity.
Right, I understand that, and that may be the way it's done. I totally agree that this gets into a sticky legal part of it. Having said that, we could be drawn into this, and how we've done it may not be law. So, okay, so moving on because it's getting late.
I know. Okay, and you can only fine them so much.
It's up
That's
to $4,000.
$4,000.
Like I say, it just needs to be said because it may come up.
Okay.
We've got 70 miles of road out there.
Are we
Okay.
good with the weed control officer enforcement
Yes,
policy?
location of
Weed board equipment.
County equipment, county shop. 4-H building does not sit on county property. I've had a request from a commissioner, that needs to move. I think legality wise, it needs to move.
We have the same issue with chemical.
You're right, move it.
We're gonna put it
Where are we gonna
down.
put it?
Wherever they wanna put it.
We got the containment bins.
Take it to the shop if they say they got a space in the building
The new
south.
building, right on the south
Like,
side of
is
the
this
big long one. that
locked?
Yeah, but they don't have heat there, do they?
Well, it's for the equipment, and stuff.
I taking the chemical there too. We want to get into, you know, if
Like-
whatever the board wants to do.
Right.
It-
So-
it's fine.
So we've just had a county shop that had resources at private places. Are we getting scrutinized
We've
partially
been
because
told
of
you
that?
can't take stuff to private places.
Exactly. The
I think
4-H
it's just the
building is a private
liability
place.
part of it,
Mhm.
the
What?
The
liability.
liability part of it is
I get it, I get it,
You know?
totally, that's why I want our own space.
Right. But I think the fact that it's there now with the drama that's gone on doesn't look good at all.
You know,
So,
how many
as-
years has it been there?
31 years.
Okay.
And we've never had a problem.
I know, Rick, let's move it. Okay,
Am I gonna have it?
I can come help.
So even, no, they don't need
right
help.
down there.
And my point is.
It's less than 3/4 of a mile from your place.
No, is it under lock and key?
I'm,
Do I have keys to get in? And when everybody,
this
the other
is,
thing I've done is I've sat here, how many times have we had people come in, last minute they want their chemical? Do I have keys to the county shop? No.
in the gate.
All I
And the
need is
gate.
a screwdriver to get through that.
I'm not getting into that.
Okay, go ahead. But the point is, it's there, and it's there for you to use when you need to use it for,
What I would
for
say-
weed board business.
Part of your
And that's-
business hours,
And that's fine.
you know.
Maybe the chemical is no longer being distributed beyond hours then. We have
Yeah,
a pickup date, and
you-
I'm not gonna sit there and
we
go
don't,
down there and.
we don't expect you to do that,
Just
Rick.
Well,
say
really.
business hours.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. That's pretty easy, right?
I know.
After,
Somebody else
used you hard a
has
few
business
times,
hours.
I run out like son about, you know.
Well,
I
it's
know,
again,
and we thank you for doing, you've been very dedicated.
No one's going to have a problem, Rick, with you having a set of keys to go get the stuff, probably. If not, Kenny Root's
Probably.
pretty close too. You're pretty close. I think this looks like a submission issue. Really, it does.
no, if you
He's
guys
gonna-
want to do that, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna quit doing the extra. If people have got an issue,
I don't know if
they
that's
should come
gonna
and
be
have an
missed.
issue with me. That's
Yep.
fine.
People will
No,
just, I mean,
it's
if you
not an
want to do
issue.
business with a bank.
It's not
Okay,
a
okay,
personal
okay,
thing.
forget it.
But either way, we can take it there. But I will
So I need to
say,
make a motion to make this happen.
Well, we'll do it. We'll do
It's
it. I'll
called
come
county
help.
policy,
I'll come help. If
and it
you,
needs to be
there's not that
respected.
much chemical
if
left.
you need help, I'll come help
We can
you.
handle it.
Okay? Okay, we're past that one.
Okay.
Dollar amount weed control officer can spend without approval.
Is there one? Is there not? It takes the pressure off of him. It also puts some responsibility on us. Every board I've been on, the employee has a dollar limit before they have to check with us. NRCS, I think it's $300.
I don't know that I've ever spent $1 that has not been
That
approved by the
Dave's
board.
never asked us.
Generally for the county, it's,
Selling chemical to
well, no, I mean, just like,
That's-
just generally, it's, if it's a bigger ticket item, you would ask. Even though if you have it in your budget, it's kind of a courtesy to say, hey, this is what we're doing, you have thoughts, pro or con, against, or whatever. It's more of a courtesy thing.
if there's no problem, there's no problem. It just
I've never had a problem. Has
We
any of
have
the other
kind
board
of a
members?
$1,000 rule with the county if somebody wants. And I mean, if it's,
Personally, I
if
don't
it's
even.
in your
I
budget.
don't want a dollar amount on there. I've never spent $1 without board approval, and I don't want it.
Okay.
good, taken care of. No worries.
Okay. I would like everybody to thank Commissioner Hughesville when they get a chance for allowing us to remain 7 districts, 7-member board. I got a call from a landowner about the railroad. I know, I'm just,
Are they not spraying?
huh?
Are they not spraying?
Well, they're spraying, but they aren't doing a very good job, I guess.
Do they
It's,
basically just put a sprayer on the side of the train and drive down the
I
train?
guess they take the helicopter sometimes. Have we ever gone down this road before? I know.
So they were requesting that we would go do it.
Well, no, they're they just asked, you know,
that we would contact
Yeah,
an
what-
intermediate for them.
this,
Oliver County was the first county that's ever filed a complaint against BNSF. This was like a couple years before I got on the board, and they actually won the case. Because they are no different than any other landowner. If there's a noxious weed problem there, we've done the same thing with Game and Fish. We've done the same thing with every other entity, even if it's government or railroad or whatever it is.
as long as they own the
If
land.
they own the land, it goes to the landowner, and actually, if that's the way they want to do, if they feel that there's a noxious weed, basically weed control officer's job is to determine if there's a problem. If there's a problem, they get a certified letter. It's that simple.
Do we need a motion or anything?
They're treated like every other person who owns land in the county. We don't,
It's gotta submit a.
somebody's got to submit a complaint, and then I'll go and inspect it.
Okay, I will talk to them. Do you, yeah, I see you have you seen NextEra's, have you got one of these?
Nope.
Can somebody
Can I have
give
this
me-
one?
Well, it's mine.
I can get you a copy.
Thanks.
Do you have one of
You
these?
could email it to me if it's in an email file.
I do not have an
Okay.
email.
Do you have one of these?
I can.
Not yet.
That's when I
Oh.
have it in the email.
That one. Do you have another one that he can have?
Well, this is just.
It's the same thing you're looking at. It's just,
online.
well,
It's that, yeah, that's okay.
You don't
I got
care?
that. Yep, I got
Okay.
that right there.
I did talk to Sarah again this morning, Sarah Montaigne from NextEra. Some of the questions I asked her, because I've had people ask me, is this plan the same for 1, 2, and 3 also?
Interesting, yes.
She says, no, this is for Oliver 4,
Yep.
but it mimics their plan for countrywide, I think she said. Okay. And I asked, you know, Oliver 3 is just a transmission line and substations, no towers for Oliver County. And I think she said that was probably correct. Are they using the same spraying service for all of them? She said she thought they were. I asked, do all sites have on-site managers? She said, yes, contacts I've got if anybody wants them. The steps to take if someone has a complaint, definitely go talk to NextEra first.
And what they did in the revision of that plan that they presented at the last meeting is that they just put their contact phone numbers and their names in there. Other than that, it's the same as what they presented to the weed board. So we have all those contacts. If there's any problems.
Okay, she said Martine is the regional site manager.
When I talked with Martine, he's clueless about the road and the disturbance. This was earlier in the year. He had no idea if they were spraying the road tops or the right of ways.
Okay.
So we could have Martine here at a meeting and ask him, but I'm guessing that I'm going to read this stuff and I'm going to say that the land I rent is definitely not being controlled that way.
Okay, Josh is number 4 site manager. He was the guy that was here. I've got his phone number too. What else? And okay, I asked where can people come see the weed plan to view it. She said it's on site, should be on site out there. Do you care if they come look at it in your office? I asked if we're allowed to copy the weed, make copies if people want a copy of it. She said she didn't see why not. Does anybody else think anything else?
I'd have to read it.
But okay, and then also too, do we want to go out and tour the wind farm?
Well, I'd tour it every day.
Well, I know, but I haven't seen it, and like so, if we would want to do that, there can only be 3 of us, right?
You mean take one of their guided tours?
Well, no,
Or
it's
just
just
us
the weed board go out and after
I don't have time.
I know, I get it. I'm not saying anybody has to go or somebody would
If
like
you wanna
to.
come out tomorrow, Brian, we can drive around.
Well, it's, you
You just
ain't gonna go out in the
couldn't have
mud and
more
tear
than
stuff up.
4
We've got enough problems without.
You can't tear it up more than it's already torn up.
Oh, you go drive out in the
Well,
prairie
they took
now.
they took a, excavator without a permit.
Right past the no
On
heavy
the
haul.
weekend.
On the 30,000 ton, or
Yep.
30-ton bridge.
I come down 50.
In and out.
Our road ain't much better, I bet. It's just bad.
I think you should come out tomorrow.
I've seen, but I mean, seriously,
It's bad.
I believe we should maybe let them get spraying and.
Yeah, we really do have to wait, right? Because they say they're gonna spray it and they've gotten pressure from the county and they've gotten pressure from owners right now. Obviously, they can't spray anything now because nothing's growing, but it will after this rain.
Well, and
I'm
it's
sure growing.
Burgess coming.
Same sprayer that does my wind towers.
Good luck, right?
They don't spray nothing.
Nope.
I just go up there and spray it. I don't care if they come or not. It's a waste of time for them. They shouldn't even drive down the road.
You know, and this isn't going to be instantaneous. It's going to take a few years.
We're gonna
That
have
I
to stay
think
on
was
this.
one of the sticking points when they were at the commission meeting. They were, oh, it's one and done. It's like, no, you're gonna have to come back several years.
Well, they talk about the towers were life of the project to spray around them. The transmission line was 2 years unless there's this problem spot, they would come back, right? That's how I understood it. Gene asked him about the section lines. That was kind of,
Section line avenues and streets where they shared dirt throughout the project, they had no plan for that at all. I found that was just a little, cause there's gonna be an outbreak there.
Mhm.
That's where
Biggest one.
we're responsible as a county for the county roads and stuff like that. If they're gonna have an employee, I think there's gonna be work for that. There's definitely gonna be,
So,
but they don't have a plan for it.
so we need to put that on the agenda for next meeting, is discuss some ordinances that we could possibly put
I'd
in.
like to see the road soup here too,
Yeah.
to see what his plans are. If
Absolutely.
he's got room and time for an employee to get trained, get on board doing that. If they need equipment, could we help them out, in that sense? Let's, have state-of-the-art stuff out there. My big thing is supervision over the employee, that's, and then go from there. I think there's gonna be, it's gonna get ugly out there, I really do, because that is a problem child area out through there. It's a tour, yeah, maybe in.
Well, I don't-
July.
Okay,
Just to see, just to see what's being done and what's
I
not being done.
think a
I
good
don't-
idea, Brian, because like you
If
don't.
you don't come over there, I don't come to your area, we did that tour with, that out there, where they were trying,
but I
find
mean,
bugs, wasn't she? We were in a full force that day, we come from a meeting, correct?
so we can only have 3 people though go on this.
Well, no, unless we advertise it, so we're going on a tour.
As
You
long as
can't-
I
Once it's
properly
noticed, we'll
said
let
that
you know.
there may be
Well, I mean, I don't want the whole county. I just
Four-
want us to
Really,
do
we
it.
don't want any private land,
No,
we're just gonna drive around the road.
And also, if we don't discuss, like make motions, or we don't discuss policy, we could go on the tour, we could see the damage, we could limit ourselves from saying we should do this,
I mean,
until
it's-
we're back
I
here.
still have to state that there may be weed board discussions. I still have to state that part.
I would have to take vacation.
But if it's stated,
Come on,
I would
Linda.
have to take vacation to do it.
so I have a question, if it's stated though, and we're advertised correctly, and only 3 people show up, we're not a quorum. If 4 people show up, we're a quorum, but it's still advertised, so it doesn't matter.
We're still covered.
We're still covered, yeah, that would be the way.
What if we took 2 cars? There's 3 people.
Don't you, please don't.
One car drives in and the other
Rick could drive one.
No, it's doable, and yeah, you might be out there planting trees, you'll see some of it.
I've rode around a lot and but I mean, stuff isn't really growing
No, it's been dry.
and this rain, I don't know if it washed or anything, but at least they'll have a chance to get some grass maybe to grow.
So that sun comes out.
This is the-
Hear the grass.
This is the first year I thought I was gonna be turning in a submission for crop insurance by July 4th, and now I'm worried about prevent plants, you know, so that's how that goes.
They're supposed to be good.
Okay,
I know, right?
do you have anything you wanna add? or-
Not right now.
Not right now, good, thank
Just a
you.
couple notes, Project Safe Sim is gonna be in Beulah on July 18th. Bismarck on July 21. I do have a couple of people that brought chemical in, they want me to take down for them, but,
And this is to dispose of the old,
yeah,
chemical?
any unused or unknown chemical, but it has to be chemicals, yeah.
Do they take antifreeze?
They do not,
You just don't dump it.
or
So
paint or anything like that,
Sure, I can.
it's just
just pesticides.
pesticides.
Yeah,
Or
Containers don't matter.
it doesn't matter if they're marked, no,
they drain.
they don't,
Because
they can be unmarked.
They drain. I just let it run. I said that.
You may not know what's in there anyways, so that's probably the safest way to get rid of
But I
it.
can't imagine.
Okay, anything else?
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
We usually do.
Are we scheduling the next meeting?
We'll just use, just the text
Schedule
working,
one when we need one.
Okay.
text working good for everybody?
Can we schedule
No.
it between planting?
Why
and
not?
hay? Yeah.
It only goes to my wife.
She runs the show anyway.
Email works though? Do you get your email?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody wants to stay longer?